what types of security risk are your biggest concerns?
I think the security risks, I would categorize them both in two ways. I mean, one is the external facing. How does the company protect themselves from the malicious people who are outside the company trying to penetrate the company and get the data or harm the company? And then there is the internal side, right? There's a lot of data, as Dominic mentioned, they collect. How do you make sure the data is appropriately secured, that the internal people also have the right access to it, and it is not being shared in a malicious way?
I think sometimes it's somewhat industry specific. I don't see that we're seeing a decrease at all in hacking and malware, but I think where we're seeing a big increase is spear phishing, and primarily targeted toward executives that have confidential, very important information, and I think that's a big area for a lot of people to protect information. And it also brings to mind the fact that we should be doing a lot of data security awareness training with all of our folks to make sure that they're aware of those risks.
I think that we've not necessarily been as diligent or focused on the humans that surrounds the systems, the data that use the systems, use the data, whether they're internal, whether they're external. And so I do believe that remains the biggest risk today. It's quite easy, if I may say so, to technically secure the data. It's not that easy to control the behaviors of human beings.
How do you mitigate those risks? Are there any examples that you could provide that could help mitigate the human risk?
Training and awareness is critical. The difficulty is that it has to be repeated. It's all the time. It's almost a daily effort, because as far as your employees are concerned, some goes, some come in. I mean, you just cannot say, hey, we've done a training once a year, we're good. It's a lot of behavioral controls, training managers to be also the relay and the role models, and making sure that things are being done the way they should. The blind spot that we also are afraid of is third-party contractors. What do you do? Do you talk to those contractors? Are they aware of what you're expecting from them? So I'm not sure there is one tip, but one has to realize that it's a fair amount of effort to make sure that in the end you do have an impact on your environment and the people that are working within and outside.
Some of the things that can be done, making sure that your third parties do sign a code of conduct, that they do have requisite training both by you and by their own companies, and making sure that the language in the agreements is very thorough when it comes to IT security risks. Also, to do a risk assessment when you're contracting with a third party is very important as well.
So how do you make sure that all the elements of the program are working, not just that I have a great firewall and testing of that firewall has to happen, but the training and other components of the program have to work together. So it's not one simple answer to say, hey, if you do this magic wand, then you're secured. But all the other pieces of training, human elements, or security of the data, testing of how you do your penetration testing, and other things have to work together in tandem.
Have these incidents prompted you to check your own security for similar weaknesses?
Yes, but there's a lot of reactionary things that companies do. But however, going back to the point that we talked about, is the company should think about what's a cybersecurity program looking like, and are all the elements covered, and there should be a repeatable process around it. Yes, as these new things are coming in, one should evaluate the risks, but nonetheless, a risk evaluation should be done up front of saying, what are the possible or potential scenarios in our organization from a cybersecurity perspective? And any of these things, the new things need to continue to be added to that part. And then, yes, reactionary things do happen based on these instances, for sure.
The National Institute of Standards and Technology, the NIST framework, is an excellent document, an excellent framework for both chief audit executives and for audit committees of the board, board members to be aware of. And if they review that, they will see exactly what an entire program should look like eventually. It's voluntary guidance, but it's great guidance, and it can be used to measure your program as it becomes more and more mature. So I would put that out as a great reference.
There was also ISO 27000 in the 2013 version that is now available, which is another framework that one can use. Both are very complementary. Actually, they cover the same things. One is going a little bit deeper in one area, and the other one deeper in another area. So it's interesting actually to pick in and assemble potentially your own framework. It's a bad thing to react if it's once in a while and after a big thing, and it's a very, very good practice to be connected to all the IT security blogs and resources out there, and to do that on a daily basis.
Thank you all very much for joining me today to discuss cybersecurity. It's a very important topic in our profession, and I'm so thankful to have you all subject matter experts in this field with me today. Thanks.
Thank you.